What's up, ladies and gentlemen, and blah, 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 blah. Not feeling it today. Please forgive me. I told you there'd be another rambling video this week. I did not expect it so soon, and I did not expect these circumstances. Yet here we are, and I want to talk to everybody here on the channel a little bit. First, let me address those of you who are Trump supporters, because I'd say about 30 or 40% of the people, based on comments and based on my feed, you guys are Trump supporters. And here's the thing. For those of you who are gracious in victory today, know that we have no problem. We may not agree on the idea of who the best president would have been, and we probably don't agree on our politics, but that shouldn't change the fact that I'm going to make stupid videos about video games and open Pokemon cards and overall goof around, and you guys are welcome to consume my entertainment just the same way as anybody else, okay? I'm not one of these people that holds a grudge. I'm not one of these people that get upset. I am intolerant. I'm tolerant perhaps to a fault. But that's who and what I am. You know, I often say, my mother was abusive and she was a monster, but I learned to love her so I can learn to love just about anybody. But for those of you who know me at all, you know that personally, I lean very left. I am probably as about a liberal as a person from my generation can be. Now, keep in mind, I'm 42, so I guess what's Generation X? Are we Gen X? I think we're Gen X. Maybe I'm Gen Y. I don't remember. But my politics are fairly simple when it comes to my generation. It's about as extreme left as you could expect it to be, and I'll reiterate that here again today. I think that no matter what color you are, no matter what shape or size you are, no matter what your political affiliation is, no matter which religious you choose to practice, including choosing to practice no religion, your sexual preference, your sexual orientation, your gender identity, your height, your weight, your ability to do things, all of these things should not factor into evaluating you as a person. What should evaluate you as a person is what's in here and what's in here, and of course your actions. And I think that that realistically is about as liberal as someone from my generation can be. Millennials these days go a lot further left than I necessarily would ever necessarily be willing to personally go, but I never disagree with it. I think that progress and progression is pretty good, and sometimes I roll my eyes when I see screen caps from Tumblr talking about preferred pronouns, because as an old white man, I don't really get it sometimes, but I still have nothing but tolerance and love for people on either end of this very divisive spectrum we see here in the United States. And I think that no matter where you are, if you are on this end of the spectrum or this end of the spectrum, or like me, somewhere closer to the middle, I think that what we do here is for you. And I hope that you'll enjoy that. I hope that my politics never scare you off. But for those of you who are left-leaning and liberal like me, I do want to address you as well today. And I want to say simply this. My wife right now is a little scared and a little hurt. And I'll be honest, I think I am too. For very practical reasons, once the Affordable Care Act is repealed, it'll be legal to deny my access to insurance again. We will be without insurance. I will be uninsured until my death, most likely. And that death will come along a lot quicker because I'll be uninsured. So that's pretty scary for me. But I'm probably one of the least affected people by this decision because I am not a person of color. I am straight, I am white, and I am male. And my wife has a little extra reason to be scared. But then we have some of my friends who are people of color, and we have some of my friends who are trans, and some of my friends who are homosexual, and even a few friends who are Muslim. And it's especially scary for them today because they don't know how all of this is going to work. So in my experience, my considerable experience at the age of 42, the pendulum always swings. It swings left and it swings right. It goes Reagan and then Bush and then Clinton and then Bush again and then Obama and now Trump. And it always swings. But you know what? You can't stop progress. Progress always happens. And we call it progressive for a reason. Every once in a while, this country takes a few steps back, and this may be the bigger steps that we've ever taken back during the next 4 years, but I promise you, we will once again take a few steps forward. We have an opportunity to change the world a second time. Everybody thinks change only happens during an electoral year, during the presidential race, but that's not the reality. We vote every 2 years. There are midterm elections, and if you are looking to change the shape of America, again, in only 2 years, you can do that by voting for representatives either of a third party or of Democrat when the time comes. And I'll help remind you when that time comes, I promise you. And if those of you who like the world that we've created for the next 2 years, you'll have the opportunity to reinforce those Republicans that got voted in. And you can do that too, and I will remind you too. But I've seen us take these steps back before. We took some big steps back under Bush, and we reelected Bush. We took some big steps back under Clinton. People don't realize that. But Bill made some huge errors, huge mistakes. And we took a few steps back when we reelected him. Reagan definitely did some great things, but also did some not so great things. Bush Sr. took us to war. I talked about all of this in yesterday's video. I have seen the pendulum swing, and I know that it will swing back to the left again. You just got to hold on for that. And a lot of people are talking about California leaving the country today. People are talking about leaving to move to Canada. They never want to move to Mexico for some reason. I don't know why that is. Mexico is just as nice, and it's a lot easier to relocate in, just to be very clear. But I digress. I will promise you that if you stick to it, this is how America works. There are checks and balances. Your voice can continue to be heard. You can write your representatives in this country. You can criticize their decisions. You can ask them and even demand them to vote the way that you want to vote. You can threaten them by choosing not to reelect them and telling that you will not support them if they make decisions, and they are forced to listen. That's why they are called the representative branch. Your work doesn't stop today if you want to see more progress and more progressiveness in this world. And if you want to fight that progressiveness, your work doesn't stop either, just to be very clear. Every once in a while, the horse bucks you off. And sometimes, like today, we feel like not getting back on the horse, but you have to. You have to get back on the horse and break that fucker. Dust yourself off, folks, and take as much time as you need to lick your wounds. But we still got work to do. And it takes participation, but both sides of the aisle, to make this country work the way it's supposed to. And I've seen it my whole life, and it doesn't stop today. And I'll admit that right now there's a divisiveness in this country like I have never seen. Not only are we standing on either sides of the aisle right now, but we're further back from each other than we've ever been. And a lot of us are throwing bricks at the other side. Maybe in some cases for good reason, but Donald Trump, as every president before him last night, asked that we bind and begin to heal so that we can get things done. And that doesn't mean you have to give up your ability to disagree with things. That doesn't mean you have to give up your ability to fight. It just means that it's a time for Americans to be Americans again, not Republicans, not Democrats, but Americans. And to work this ship together. And if we don't do that, then that's when democracy finally dies, right? I mean, that's the actual end of it. And I trust you guys. I trust my generation. I trust the generation before me. And I'll trust the generation after me. I do, to do what needs doing today. So it's scary. I know there's people out there who are Muslim and are afraid to wear their headwear, hijab, I think it's called. I've seen many people talk about that. One of my friends of color made a Facebook post today jokingly asking, well, should I wait to be lynched or should I hang myself today? And I mean, all of that is sarcastic, I think. I hope that it's sarcastic, but not all of it, because people are genuinely afraid. And if you are one of them, I want you to know I am too. Even here on my fucking privileged ivory tower with my white, straight, cisgendered, I'm scared too, and I'm scared for you. But we're going to do this. You have an ally in me. You'll always have an ally in me, regardless of your political affiliation, regardless of the color of your skin, regardless of the shape of, that you are, the person that you are. I will only ever judge you from what's in here and what's in here, and of course your actions. And so if you're a Trump winner today, be gracious, because that's the action I'm judging you on today. And if you are a Hillary Clinton supporter and you lost today, be gracious, because that's the action I'm rooting for today. And I think the quicker we can do this, the quicker we'll begin to heal, and the quicker these 4 years will go by. Just my opinion, man. I hope it brings you a little bit of comfort. Here's what I will tell you. I'm going to do my absolute best for the next 4 years to make a bunch of silly, non-politically affiliated, bullshit, fun, and thought-provoking and emotion-provoking videos for you to distract yourself from this very scary and very mean and very just awful world. And put a little bit of joy into it instead. I'm going to double down on that, and I hope that you'll be here to enjoy it. I love you guys. Thanks for watching. I'll speak with you again soon. Now, dust yourself off, kids. We got to ride.